Is your NEET preparation on track? Pace ahead with NEET Test Prep app by Extra Marks. Adaptive testing platform. India's top faculty. Micro-scheduling. Live and recorded sessions. Doubt-solving sessions. National level weekly test. Analytics and reports. Download the app now.
Hello everyone, myself Rashmi and I'm a botany faculty at Extra Marks. Today I'm going to teach you about the most interesting topic of your 12th standard, that is regulation of gene expression. So let's look into the key concepts of this session. Regulation of gene expression comes under the chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance. This class I'm going to explain you about what is gene regulation, need for regulation of gene and types of genes based on their mode of expression, and also how the gene regulation occurs in prokaryotes and eukaryotes, and two important methods of gene regulation, positive gene regulation and negative gene regulation, and also very important, that is lac operon concept, which is important both for boards as well as NEET. Okay, and the two phases of lac operon regulation, first negative gene regulation and then about positive gene regulation, and lastly about tryptophan operon. So let us begin the session. First of all, let us understand what is gene expression. You know that there is some information which is present on the DNA of every living organism, right? And that information is present in the form of coded language, isn't it? That information, it is present in the form of coded language. So the information which is present on the DNA, it flows on the mRNA molecule through transcription process. And from mRNA, it is then transferred in the form of protein synthesis through the process of translation, right? So ultimately, the information in the DNA will be converted into the protein molecule, and this process is called as gene expression. Okay, but however, the expression of the gene need not be continuous. There must be some control to this gene expression, that we are going to call as regulation of gene expression. Then what is regulation of gene expression? All mechanisms, all methods which are adopted by the living organisms in order to control the gene expression is called as regulation of gene expression. I'll just give you a very simple example here. You know that the growth hormone in our body has to be produced in a specific amount, right? But if growth hormone gene is expressed too much, then what happens? Ultimately, it results in gigantism, isn't it? And if the amount of this growth hormone gene is expressed low, then it leads to dwarfism, right? Hence, every gene has to be expressed in a highly controlled manner, and various methods which are involved in the gene regulation, in the gene expression in order to regulate its expression is called as regulation or control of gene expression. Okay, and by this mechanism, every gene can either increase or decrease the production of specific gene product. Okay, then why there is need for regulation of gene expression? As we discussed just now with the help of growth hormone, I'll quote one more example here. Now suppose if I place a plate of noodles in front of you, automatically you will take out a fork and eat the noodles, right? But at the same time, I'll replace that noodles with a bowl of kheer. Now what you are going to do? First you'll keep the fork aside and take out a spoon, right? So you can't eat kheer with the help of fork. In the same way, in every living organism, based on the food source or based on the environmental stimuli, the enzymes and the proteins in the body are also going to change. Okay, so especially in bacteria, depending upon the food in the environment, say for example glucose is present, then the enzymes required for utilization of the glucose are different. And if lactose is present, the enzymes which are required to utilize this lactose will also be different. Hence, based on the food source, the bacteria has to adapt itself to the external stimuli, and also it has to produce different enzymes, and that is regulated with the help of mechanism called regulation of gene expression. Okay, and virtually the expression of gene can be regulated at any point, right from transcription or post-transcriptional or translational or during the transport of mRNA. So at any point of the gene expression, its regulation can take place, and especially in case of prokaryotes, the gene regulation basically occurs at the transcription level. Okay, and there are two important types of genes based on their expression. First one is constitutive genes, and the next one is non-constitutive genes. So let's see first of all what are constitutive genes. They are also called as housekeeping genes. They are also called as housekeeping genes because these genes have to be continuously expressed in our body. That means the genes which continuously keep on producing the proteins are called housekeeping genes, and these genes are basically involved with energy production, such as the enzymes of glycolytic pathway, or the enzymes of Krebs cycle. Okay, so these enzymes must be produced continuously, and basically these are involved with energy production, and hence these genes are actually expressed throughout our life and in every cell of our body, And at the same time, the genes which are responsible for defending the death, that means aging is due to accumulation of toxins, isn't it? So there are some genes which are involved with removal of the toxic substances, and the proteins of these genes have to be continuously produced in every cell, and continuously these proteins will be involved with the removal of the toxins. And such genes which are actively working in all cells of our body without any rest are called as housekeeping genes, or they are also called constitutive genes. Now coming to non-constitutive genes, which are also called as luxury genes. These genes are produced only at certain point of our development, or they are produced only in certain cells of our body. That means they are going to become expressed only when required. Hence, the regulation of non-constitutive genes is very, very important. Look at the picture here. The gene for hemoglobin synthesis is going to be expressed only in red blood cells, but it is not expressed in case of smooth muscle or in fat cells, or maybe in case of striated muscle, or maybe in keratinized cells. Okay, so in none of the other cells the expression of hemoglobin synthesis gene occurs, but it is very, very important to be expressed in RBC cells. So such genes which are expressed only in some of the cells of our body but not in all the cells, and the expression of these genes is highly regulated. That means, as I gave you the example of growth hormone, the genes are expressed only at particular stage of the development. So after certain stage, the growth hormone synthesis will decrease, right? And the regulation of this growth hormone gene is highly important, and such genes are called non-constitutive genes or luxury genes. Now coming to regulation of gene expression in prokaryotic and eukaryotic organism, as I already told you, the regulation of gene expression can occur at any level in eukaryotes, right from the transcription level, that is when the mRNA has to be synthesized, that is the synthesis of hnRNA. At this level, the gene can be regulated, or the processing of hnRNA, that is conversion of hnRNA into mRNA molecule by post-transcriptional modification, which involves splicing, capping, tailing, etc. Even at this level also, the regulation of gene can take place in eukaryotes. Or when the mRNA which is synthesized has to be transported out of the nucleus into cytoplasm, even at this level also the regulation can occur, that is regulation at transport level of mRNA from nucleus to the cytoplasm, or in the level of translation, that is when proteins are made in the ribosomes. Even at this level also the regulation of gene expression can occur. So this is the case of eukaryotes. Whereas in case of prokaryotes, the predominant stage at which the gene control occurs is at the transcription level. So basically the regulation occurs at the transcription level, that is at the initial step itself. Okay. And very important, in bacteria, you know that the genes are present in clusters. That is why the bacteria are going to produce polycistronic mRNA, isn't it? So such cluster of gene which are transcribed together with the help of single promoter, is called as operon. Yes, in bacteria, the related genes are found in cluster in the DNA molecule, and all are transcribed together by using a single promoter, and a cluster of gene with single promoter is called operon. So this is the definition of operon. Okay, a cluster of gene having single promoter is called as operon. Operons are very common in bacteria, but they are not found in eukaryotic organisms such as human beings, because you know we are going to produce monocistronic mRNA. That means we have genes which code for only one particular mRNA, which codes only for one polypeptide chain, isn't it? And we have split genes, right? But in case of prokaryotes, they have cluster of gene that produces polycistronic mRNA molecule. And this is the representation of gene cluster in bacteria. Look at here, 3 genes are present together, gene 1, gene 2 and gene 3. All these genes have a single promoter region. Can you see here? They have a single promoter region, and all the genes, they are expressed together. They are expressed together to produce a mRNA molecule, and this mRNA, it is said to be polycistronic mRNA, isn't it? It is called as polycistronic mRNA, and this polycistronic mRNA will produce different polypeptides from a single polycistronic mRNA. Okay, and then moving on to how the regulation of the promoter takes place. So the accessibility, the availability of the promoter region in prokaryotes, it is basically regulated by the protein molecules which bind to the operator region. So the regulation of the gene, it occurs with the help of operator gene, and to the operator there are certain protein molecules which can bind, and those protein molecules actually they are going to regulate the expression of structural genes. Got the point? So the availability of the promoter, because promoter is the region to which the RNA polymerase can bind. Promoter is the region to which RNA polymerase can bind. But the availability of the promoter region depends upon the operator, whether the operator is bound with the activator protein or whether it is bound to the repressor protein molecule. So, operator controls the binding of RNA polymerase to promoter region. And once the promoter is bound with the RNA polymerase, the structural genes are converted into polycistronic mRNA, and that mRNA in turn codes for various polypeptides. It codes for various polypeptides. Okay. Now coming to the two types of gene regulation. I told you in a transcriptional unit, the activity of RNA polymerase at a given promoter, it is regulated with the help of protein molecules, right? So these protein molecules, they could be either activators or they may be repressors. So two important proteins are going to regulate the operation of promoter. And these protein molecules, they basically bind to the operator, but even there is another site also that I'm going to explain you. Okay. So the protein molecules are of two types, activators and repressors. And if the regulation of the gene occurs with the help of repressor protein molecules, see here, these are the genes which has to code for mRNA and produce the polypeptide. But the genes are now unable to produce the mRNA molecule, no mRNA synthesis. The genes are unable to synthesize the mRNA molecule because the operator is occupied by repressor protein. And such gene regulation which occurs by binding of repressor, it is called as negative gene regulation. It is called negative gene regulation. Since the operator is bound with the repressor, look at here, RNA polymerase enzyme cannot bind to the operator gene. Okay. And now coming to the other type of gene regulation, that is positive gene regulation. This happens with the help of a protein which is called as activator. You can observe that in the picture, right? So positive gene regulation occurs with the help of a protein which is called as activator. And where do you find the binding of activator? Before the promoter region. So generally the activators bind before the promoter region. Okay. But binding of the activator enhance the binding of RNA polymerase. Binding of activator enhance the process of binding of RNA polymerase. Therefore, the expression of the gene takes place. There is enhanced expression of the genes, producing lot many copies of mRNA molecule. A lot of mRNA molecules are made that are going to in turn code for the protein molecule. So if the gene regulation occurs with the help of activator, what do you call it? You call them as positive gene regulation. Okay. Then coming to the lac-operon concept. Lac-operon concept was explained by Francis Jacob and Jacques Monod. These were the two scientists who explained lac-operon for studying about regulation of gene expression. Then question arises, what is this lac-operon, isn't it? We already know that operon means cluster of genes. Then what is a lac-operon? Lac-operon refers to the cluster of genes or set of genes that are going to regulate the catabolism or breakdown of lactose molecule, that are going to regulate the breakdown of lactose molecule. These two scientists explained lac-operon in the bacterium E. coli or Escherichia coli. They explained about this lac-operon in Escherichia coli, and lac-operon consists of genes that code for several enzymes or the protein molecules that are required for the catabolism, especially metabolism. Here it is breakdown, right? So you call such metabolic process as catabolism. So these genes are required for catabolism of the sugar. Which sugar? That is lactose. Hence the genes which are involved here, they are togetherly called as lac-operon genes. Okay. So the lac-operon consists of one regulatory gene and 3 structural genes, that is Z, Y and A. So shall we look into the representation of this lac operon? Yes. So the representation of lac operon is like this, which includes 3 structural genes, which are these structural genes Z, Y and A. Z gene code and look at here, all the genes, they are expressed together. Can you see? And what type of mRNA is produced here? The mRNA which is produced is polycistronic mRNA. It is polycistronic mRNA. Okay? And in this polycistronic mRNA, there is information for synthesis of 3 important enzyme or protein molecule. Okay? So that the Z gene codes for beta-galactosidase enzyme, which is required for the breakdown of lactose, into glucose and galactose. Okay, and the next gene, that is Y gene, codes for the enzyme permease, or you can also call it as lactose permease, where lactose permease codes for the lactose permease brings about the uptake of lactose from the environment. So it helps in the uptake of lactose from the environment, that is from the nutrient medium. Once the lactose is taken up into the bacterial cell, then beta-galactosidase enzyme will break the lactose molecule into glucose and galactose. Okay, then A gene codes for enzyme transacetylase, and transacetylase enzyme is required for inhibiting the uptake of toxic molecules from the lactose permease protein. Okay, it inhibits the uptake of toxic substances by the bacterial cell, and also it involves the transfer of a acetyl group. It involves the transfer of a acetyl group to the lactose molecule before it is taken up into the cell. Hence the name transacetylase. So these are the structural genes which are present. These are the structural genes which are present in the lac operon, and there is one regulatory gene. So what is this regulatory gene which is present? The regulatory gene is I gene, which codes for mRNA, and this mRNA code for a protein molecule, and this protein, it is called as repressor protein. This protein, it is called as repressor protein. So you know the lac operon regulatory gene is going to code for repressor, and hence lac operon is mainly, it is regulated, when it is regulated through repressor, it should be called as negative gene regulation, isn't it? So the gene regulation which we are going to study now, it is going to happen with the help of repressor protein, and you call that gene regulation as negative gene regulation. Okay, and lac operon has one inducer, and this inducer is, the inducer of the lac operon is lactose or allolactose. Lactose or allolactose. Okay, so both lactose and allolactose, they act as the inducers for the lac operon genes. So this is schematic representation of lac operon. Now moving on further, I'm going to now explain about switch off and switch on of lac operon. That means when the genes of lac operon are expressed and when the genes of lac operon are shut down. So first we are going to look into switch off of lac operon. You know that the regulatory gene, that is I gene in lac operon, it codes for mRNA molecule. And this mRNA in turn code for the repressor protein, isn't it? It codes for the repressor protein. So this repressor protein molecule, when it binds to the operator, when the repressor binds to the operator, so this is actually the active form of the repressor which is produced from the mRNA molecule through ribosomes. Okay, so this active repressor, when it binds to the operator, look at the promoter region. Look at the promoter region. It cannot bind with RNA polymerase. It cannot bind with RNA polymerase. Therefore, there is no expression of the genes that is Z, Y and A. Hence, without the expression of the genes, there is no synthesis of polycistronic mRNA and no protein is synthesized. Okay, but when the genes has to be switched on, So one more thing here I want to explain. So the genes are switched off when the repressor is present. Then why the repressor binds to the operator? So the repressor is going to bind to the operator in absence of lactose. In absence of lactose or the second condition, so when there is high amount of lactose in the environment, in the medium. And also the second condition is in the low availability of glucose. So in these two conditions, the lac operon will be switched off. Either unavailability of glucose or unavailability of lactose, or this is increased glucose production. Okay, so in the absence of lactose or high availability of glucose, the expression of lac operon is shut down. It is switched off. Okay, now moving on further, the switch on of lac operon. The switch on of lac operon. So this happens when lactose is present in the medium. When lactose is present in the medium and comparatively the amount of lactose is high, and the second condition, so the first condition there should be availability of lactose, and second condition is low availability of glucose, unavailability of glucose in the external medium, and the presence of lactose in the external medium will switch on the lac operon genes. When lactose is present in the external medium, some of its molecule is converted into allolactose, or even the lactose also acts as a inducer. Okay, let us see how it takes place. When lactose is present in the medium, then the regulatory gene or the I gene, it codes for mRNA molecule that produces repressor. But when lactose is present in the medium, lactose binds to the repressor molecule, and when lactose or allolactose binds to the repressor molecule, the repressor becomes or gets converted into inactive repressor. So this inactive repressor is now unable. It cannot bind to operator. Hence, there is binding of RNA polymerase. To the promoter region. RNA polymerase enzyme to the promoter region. Now, promoter slides on the genes, operator and the structural genes. When the RNA polymerase slides on the structural genes, reads the structural gene, there will be synthesis of mRNA, and ultimately the three enzymes are produced which are required for lactose digestion. So which are those three enzymes? The first one, beta galactosidase, which is required for the breakdown of lactose into glucose and galactose molecule. The second one is lactose permease, which is required for the uptake of lactose into the bacteria from the medium. And the last one is the enzyme transacetylase. Okay, so which are coded by the genes Z, Y and A respectively. Fine. So after switch on of lac operon, now we are going to discuss about what type of regulation is going to occur in lac operon gene. So hope this is clear. Lac operon is going to switch on in the presence of lactose, at the same time in the absence of glucose also. Okay, so in the presence of lactose, lactose binds to the repressor and it converts the repressor into inactive repressor, where inactive repressor cannot bind to the operator and the free promoter can bind to the RNA polymerase enzyme, and RNA polymerase reads the structural genes, that is Z, Y and A, which are converted into polycystonic mRNA that code for 3 important proteins which are required for the catabolism of lactose, that is lactose digestion. Okay, then what type of regulation occurs in lac operon? You know that lac operon, it is induced. The lac operon genes, they are induced by the presence of lactose, isn't it? They are induced by the presence of lactose. Then such type of operon which gets induced by the stimulus. So here the stimulus is actually the presence of lactose which gets induced by the stimulus. So such genes are called as inducible genes, and the operon is called as inducible operon. It is induced by the lactose molecule, hence it is called as inducible operon. At the same time, when the lac operon has to be shut down, when the lac operon genes have to be switched off, when they have to be shut down, okay, this happens with the help of repressor protein. It happens with the help of repressor proteins, isn't it? And such type of gene regulation which occur with the help of repressor protein, you call such gene regulation as negative type of gene regulation, isn't it? You call such gene regulation as negative gene regulation, isn't it? Therefore, clearly I can say that lac operon is an inducible operon, but it is going to exhibit, or it gets regulated by negative gene regulation. Okay, so after this, moving on to the positive regulation of lac operon genes. I told you there are 2 phases of lac operon gene regulation, isn't it? But in 12th standard, they have basically explained only about negative gene regulation of the inducible operon, but there is one more phase of this lac operon gene regulation which is called positive gene regulation, and that takes place with the help of a protein, that activator protein which is involved in positive gene regulation, because we call positive gene regulation when activator binds, isn't it? So that activator protein which brings about positive gene regulation of lac operon, it is called as CAP. The activator name is CAP, that is catabolite activator protein. Okay, now shall we see how this happens? So CAP protein binds to a region before the promoter sequence. So before promoter region, there is a site to which the CAP protein binds. But the binding of CAP protein occurs by one more molecule which is called CAMP, cyclic adenyl monophosphate. Okay, cyclic adenosine monophosphate or cyclic adenylic acid. So this cyclic AMP molecule, it is going to be synthesized in the low availability of glucose, molecule. So when glucose is low, then CAMP is produced, and this CAMP now binds to the CAP protein. Hence, the CAP protein becomes activated in the E. coli cell. This activated CAP protein binds to the CAP site, and the CAP site, once it is bound with this cap protein molecule, it enhances the binding of RNA polymerase to promoter. Yes, binding of cap protein to the cap site enhances the binding of RNA polymerase enzyme to the promoter region. Okay, and also it blocks the binding of repressor. It blocks the binding of repressor to the operator. Okay, so it enhances the binding of RNA polymerase to the promoter. At the same time, it blocks the repressor. Repressor now cannot bind to the operator gene. Hence, the genes such as LAC-Z, LAC-Y, LAC-A, they are continuously expressed, producing a number of copies of mRNA molecule, and that mRNA will code for the protein synthesis. See here, negative repressor, that means it is going to block the binding of repressor protein. Okay, blocks the binding of repressor but enhances the binding of cap protein when in the low availability of glucose and high availability of lactose. Okay, this is called positive gene regulation of LAC operon genes with the help of cap protein. Then next, moving on further, we have now discussed about inducible type of operon with the help of LAC operon concept, isn't it? But there is one more type of operon found in all living organisms, especially in bacteria, which is called as repressible type of operon. So LAC operon is example for inducible, but there is one more type of operon which is called as repressible operon, and this repressible operon, it generally works in case of anabolic pathway, but inducible operon generally it is going to work in case of catabolic pathway, but repressible type of operon, it is basically found in the anabolic pathways. Okay, and the functioning of the operon in case of repressible operon, it is going to be stopped in the presence of high concentration of end product. Yes, when the end product of a given metabolic pathway increases, so this end product itself, it is going to shut down the expression of the gene. Yes, and such type of operon is found in case of tryptophan metabolism, and the operon which is involved with the metabolism of tryptophan, it is called as trypoperon or tryptophan operon. Okay, now let us see the schematic representation of tryptophan operon. So a tryptophan operon also consists of operator gene to which the repressor has to bind, and there is a promoter region to which the RNA polymerase enzyme binds. Okay, but look at the structural genes here. The structural genes are 5 in number, that is A, B, C, D, E. Okay, the structural genes are E, D, C, B, A. And these structural genes, once again, when they are expressed, they are going to produce polycistronic mRNA, and this polycistronic mRNA is going to synthesize, it is going to synthesize 3 important enzymes, that is enzyme 1, enzyme 2 and enzyme 3. And why all these enzymes are required to be expressed from trypoperon? Because all these enzymes are required for the synthesis of tryptophan amino acid. They are required for the synthesis of tryptophan amino acid. Okay, and synthesis is nothing but anabolic pathway, right? So the genes that is repressible operon, they are going to be regulated especially in anabolic pathways of metabolism. Okay, so all these enzymes are required for synthesis of tryptophan amino acid. Okay, now let us see when the tryptophan operon gets switched on and when it gets switched off. Okay, so tryptophan operon has an operator, promoter, and for any operon always there will be one more gene which you call it as I gene, isn't it? There will be one more gene which is called as I gene, and I gene will be coding for repressor protein molecule, right? It will be coding for repressor protein molecule, isn't it? So I'll write the I gene over here. There will be I gene, and this I gene will be coding for synthesis of mRNA, which in turn codes for the synthesis of repressor protein. But the repressor which is produced in the tryptophan operon, it is called as, more correctly, it is called as aporepressor. It is called as aporepressor. Why? Because the repressor which is produced from the I gene, it is in the inactive form. It is in the inactive form. Hence it is called as aporepressor. So in the less concentration of tryptophan in the bacterial cell, that means when tryptophan synthesis is taking place, but the amount of tryptophan synthesized is equal to the amount of tryptophan utilized by the bacterial cell. So obviously the concentration of tryptophan will be low in the bacterial cell. At this time, the aporepressor which is produced by the I gene, since it is inactive in its form, it is unable to bind to the operator in the less availability of tryptophan. Hence, look at here, the promoter can bind to RNA polymerase. The promoter can bind to RNA polymerase. Once the RNA polymerase is bound to the promoter, now all these genes are expressed. Look at the repressor. It cannot bind. So all these genes are expressed, E, D, C, B and A. And ultimately they produce a polycistronic mRNA which code for three enzymes. Enzyme 1, C, E and D togetherly code for enzyme 1, and C produces enzyme 2, right? And B and A togetherly produce enzyme 3, isn't it? So once the tryptophan is low in the concentration, the genes are expressed. The genes are expressed that code for three enzymes, and these enzymes are going to help in the continuous synthesis of the amino acid tryptophan. But when tryptophan concentration is high in the bacterial cell, that means there is less utilization of the tryptophan by bacteria, but the synthesis has become more. At that time, the tryptophan amino acid, it is accumulated with the inside the bacterial cell, and this tryptophan accumulated is going to bind to the repressor. And tryptophan is now called as co-repressor. It is now called as co-repressor. So co-repressor binds with the aporepressor, and togetherly they form active repressor. They form active repressor, and the active repressor molecule can bind to the operator. Yes, so the end product of the metabolic pathway is tryptophan. So the tryptophan itself is going to bind to the inactive repressor or aporepressor, and tryptophan is going to act like co-repressor, converting the inactive repressor into active repressor. Active repressor is now bind to the operator. Hence, RNA polymerase cannot transcribe EDCBA genes. It cannot transcribe the structural genes. Therefore, the genes are switched off. So, the genes of tryptophan operon, they are switched on in low availability of tryptophan, that is amount of tryptophan is low in the bacterial cell, within the bacterial cell. But when the tryptophan concentration is increased, then the tryptophan operon genes are blocked. They are switched off. Okay. So this is of regulation of tryptophan operon with the help of aporepressor and co-repressor molecule. Even tryptophan operon is also negative gene regulation only. It is repressible operon and it is regulated by negative gene regulation because the regulation basically occurs with the help of repressor protein molecule. Hence, you can call such regulation as repressible type of gene regulation. Okay. Now, moving on further, we are going to look into a video. In any organism, the regulation, so we are going to look into the video of lac-operon here. In any organism, the regulation of gene expression is very, very important, both in eukaryotes and also in prokaryotes. So the first time the gene regulation was explained by Jacob and Monod with the help of lac-operon concept, which explains us about the breakdown of lactose or catabolism of lactose. So this lac-operon consists of 3 structural genes, that is Z gene, Y gene and A gene. Z gene codes for enzyme beta-galactosidase, Y gene codes for enzyme lactose permease and A gene code for enzyme transacetylase. So all these genes are very, very important. And it also has promoter sequence for binding of RNA polymerase, and that helps in reading of all the structural genes. The operator gene is the site where the repressor protein has to bind. There is one regulatory gene which is present in the lac-operon. That regulatory gene is I gene. So in the lac-operon, there is one regulatory gene which is called I gene or lac-I gene that produces mRNA, which in turn produces the repressor protein molecule. So the active repressor produced from the lac-I gene in the absence of lactose. What happens in the absence of lactose? It binds to the operator region. But binding of the repressor to operator will inhibit the binding of RNA polymerase enzyme. If no RNA polymerase, then there is no transcription of structural genes. Whereas when lactose is available in the medium, lactose or allolactose, both are inducers. Okay, so these molecules, they bind to the active repressor and convert it into inactive form of the repressor. This inactive repressor is unable to bind to the operator. Hence, RNA polymerase will now bind to the promoter region. Once the RNA polymerase binds to the promoter, it reads the structural gene and produces polycistronic mRNA. And this polycistronic mRNA produces all the 3 enzymes which are required for uptake of lactose from the medium, and also the breakdown of lactose into glucose and galactose and utilization of the lactose molecule by the bacterial cell. So this is how the lactose is utilized by the bacteria from the external medium. Okay, so after this, hopefully we have learned a lot of concepts about gene regulation here, right, with lac-operon or tryptophan operon, positive gene regulation, negative gene regulation, inducible operon, repressible operon, etc. So all these are the concepts which are going to make us clear how the genes, mainly in prokaryotic gene regulation that we have discussed in lac-operon and tryptophan operon, are going to take place. Okay, so thank you everyone for watching the video. Thank you.